a loan officer who gets way too excited about amortization schedules, and a retro realtor straight out of 1993 walk into a studio named Red Rooster. And honestly, we're not sure how this ends either.
It's the Mortgage 101 podcast where real talk meets home and land.
Hey, what's up? Everybody, welcome back to Manley's Mortgage Minutes. Today is a special one. I've got a guy across from me who's been in the Milwaukee real estate since before the crash. He's watched this market go through every cycle, every boom, and every bust. And he's still standing. And man, he is standing tall because he's a tall one. He's an agent, he's an investor, he co-runs a leasing operation, and he also runs his own YouTube channel at 1524 Mike, called Mike the Retro Realtor. Check it out. Welcome to the show, Mike. Check out the cool shirts we got.
I love it.
Where did we get these shirts from?
Oh, we got them from Chrissy. So she did a nice job putting these together.
It's amazing, isn't it?
She does.
I love it, dude. I love the colors. I love everything about it. I'm totally into
brand.
it. Gotta build the brand.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, appreciate it. All right, out of the gates, tell these people a little about yourself, your channel, and whatever else you might want to tell this audience about, like bartending or craziness or that crazy Cadillac that you're driving around.
Oh, I don't know about crazy, but
yeah, it is crazy.
No, my name's Mike Larson. I've been practicing real estate for about 16 years now. You know, I've owned a couple other houses. I'm an investor, but I really love selling real estate. That's always been kind of fun for me. It's a job that you kind of just jump out of bed and you're ready to go. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are days like, oh, and there's some phone calls like, damn it. But, you know, you roll with the punches like everything else. So when I'm not selling real estate, I do have my YouTube channel, Mike the Retro Realtor.
Yeah.
With the channel, I talk about a lot of things. I mean, it's a real estate channel, so I'm always giving out tips and, you know, my newest listings I put on the channel, feature those, kind of walk through the process of how to buy a house, you know, in the current day and age, you know, give tips to new buyers, you know, so they have some sort of background when they walk into these homes. For fun, I'll do like movie reviews, my favorite movies lists, stuff like that. And then I'm a huge car guy, so I'll talk about my favorite cars. I go to a lot of car shows, and I will shoot individual cars and make a short out of those. It's just kind of a fun hobby, but I mean, it kind of goes arm in arm with the real estate. In fact, when I shoot your house, I'll take the photos from the professional photographer, voice them, and put them on the MLS. Not a lot of agents do that. And I think that's kind of gives you a leg up when you hire someone like myself who, not that I'm a real techie guy, but I kind of like, could we try this? You know?
Can we do it?
All through the Gen X point of view. So, I mean, I am hardcore Gen X, and I carry that with me. So
Love it. Love that a lot. Appreciate it. All right. We're doing something a little different today. We're going to do a straight rapid fire. Bill's running the questions. So with that, Bill, fire away.
All right. Thanks so much, Manley. So the first question I got up is, you guys have been doing this for a long time now. How did each of you end up in your respective businesses? Was it the plan, or did it just happen?
You're the guest, so
okay.
you get to go first.
All right, so I'll take this one. I was bartending at the time. I've always been a people person. I've always had kind of the gift of gab. I enjoy being around people, but then I realized I'm like, I'm flirting with 30. I should probably get a real job but I've always loved houses. And at that time, I owned a couple of duplexes. I owned my own single family. I always appreciate what realtors do. The lifestyle is a little more casual. It's not a 9-to-5 job. You know, sometimes you work incredibly hard, 60, 70-hour weeks, and sometimes there's just not much going on. So it was kind of a natural transition. So I got licensed right away. I was still bartending because, you know, you got to keep the lights on and everything. You got to eat. But it worked out really good because it was a dive bar and people knew me and stuff like that. I probably that first year got 5 or 6 deals out of the bar.
Awesome.
From clients in the bar, you know, customers. You know, it just kind of took a life of its own. So, you know, I just kept doing it. So all these years later, no regrets at all. I had to close yesterday. I was bouncing around today. It's something you really enjoy doing.
Love it. Love it. Yeah.
You'll never work a day in your life if you love what you do.
Absolutely. Like you said, some days are a grind, some aren't, you know, just get after it.
Some days are better than others, absolutely.
For sure.
That's what alcohol's for.
Peaks and valleys.
Yep.
I've been in the business for about 24 years. Before that, I worked for a commercial design build company, and I was a development director, and I helped our clients obtain financing for, you know, $10 million hospitals, medical office buildings, stuff like that. So I had this sort of level of understanding of the financing and how it worked. I was doing some stuff with a personal loan for me. It wasn't going the way I thought it was going to go, and I wasn't really understanding everything and the nuances of what was going. So I did some deep dive in that, walked through with my loan officer at the time, who I knew really well, and took it to kind of another level. And I'm like, hey, you're pretty good at explaining this stuff, and you know what you're talking about. I'm like, well, I'm just learning on the fly here because I want to know. Well, you'd be good at this. And then had some other friends that were in the mortgage industry as well. They're like, yeah, you'd be good at this. So the next thing you know, well, Jed's a millionaire, and I'm doing this for 24 years and, have my ups and downs, but love it every day. And
Funny how time flies.
I love to be with people. I love that aha moment when somebody realizes that, holy cow, I can buy that $600,000 house, or I can buy that second home. I can buy the cabin up north and keep my home here. Like, there are things that you can show them financially that are good decisions, not over leveraging themselves, but good decisions, and they didn't even think about it.
I like to finish every conversation with, like, do you understand? Do you feel comfortable? And, like, to your point, the aha moment's like, my house will go for that much? I go, yeah. Or when we get on the market, in this market, because you don't really know where things are going to land. And all of a sudden, multiple offers are coming in, and those are the fun days.
That's what I love about this still today, is that minute where somebody didn't think they could do something and now they can. My favorite loan and I'm getting off subject here, my favorite loan that I did in my career just came last year. Like a 55-year-old gentleman who had never owned a home before, divorced, had a 12-year-old daughter, and he really wanted to buy a home. And he didn't really think that he could make it happen. And I showed him how to restructure a little bit of debt that he had, and we did a 30-day window to restructure the debt. If it all worked out, he had everything he could want, and this person became a homeowner for the first time at age 55. It was one of those amazing moments in my career. Like, had no idea that he could pull this off, and just a little tweaking of this and a little tweaking of that, and the next thing you know,
good for him.
He's buying a home for him and his daughter, and it was an amazing.
I'm sure he's very happy.
So, wasn't my biggest loan. It wasn't anything other than what
we're
happened.
talking about it at
there.
years after the fact, and it's a cool story.
Yeah, and just what happened to get him there is what's amazing to me, and makes me want to keep doing that, to find other people that you can be helpful.
Sure.
To do that. So yeah.
All right, that sounds good. Next up, what's something that you used to believe about this industry that you don't anymore?
How much time you have? Shirt and ties. I don't do shirt and ties. Kind of to your point, when you started, I bought a couple of duplexes from this agent. She was at Shore West. She's nice. I kind of like this, So she actually got me in there, and, I had to get my license, no big deal. Nothing on the background. But I got to Shore West and shirts and ties, and I'm like, I lasted a couple of years. I don't have anything against the company or anything like that. But, I do my open houses. I'm wearing a flannel and a Van Halen t-shirt, 80s music in the background. I got the Fiero out front. The license plate literally says 80s Realtor.
Yeah.
I like doing my own thing.
It's creating a vibe.
I'm creating a vibe. And I'm not the most artistic person. I don't do art, or I'm not tatted up or anything like that. I just like being that middle-aged guy who just walks around in the old Van Halen t-shirts. I am that guy, So, it's fun. It's kind of where the retro thing came from. So I do have a broker. I do have a boss. He's like, yeah, you're not breaking any rules. If you're happy, I'm happy. Keep bringing in those files.
Something that I believe in or don't believe in anymore. I don't know. It was interesting. When I started in this business, and Mike, you probably know about all this shenanigans. There were some crazy products back in 2002, 2000. I started at the end of 2001, 2002, up until the first big real estate crash that I was involved in. I could have you guess a couple names of some
To your point, I actually had a countrywide negative amortization loan up until about 2 years ago.
Really?
I finally got rid of it. I actually came this close to actually paying it off because it was tied to the current interest rates. In this house, I only owed like $50,000 in it. All of a sudden, it jumped to 9% interest. I'm like, oh, you son of a, Yeah. But I was living there at 4.5, 5, through the recession.
What was the index they were using? Was it the coffee, or what were they using?
I think it was the coffee.
But
this is before I really got into it. They sold me a couple of these, and they worked great at the time.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. As soon as there's a hiccup,
those were meant for the right people.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, there was something that happened that they decided everybody should have these.
The Big Short is not a movie for entertainment. That's a documentary. That and Idiocracy.
Yeah. That's one of my favorites, and that's a deep rabbit hole we could go down. But
oh gosh,
there's other things in that time. The Ninja Arms, or Ninja Loans.
Ninja Loans. I know what you meant. No income, no job. Yeah. That's a good idea.
You basically can breathe on the mirror, and we got you.
Yeah. Here's $250,000. Yeah.
Here we go. Those are some crazy times. Also got us in a lot of crazy times that for our economy that probably shouldn't have happened.
In hindsight, it was all self-inflicted, and just stacked and stacked and stacked. I still remember when the realtors driving through, and people are literally running out of their houses. I was just thinking about that while I was cutting the grass. Like, those were crazy times. In fact, that actually happened to me. I was showing houses, and someone ran out, got in their car, and chased us down. Hey, you want to look at my house? I did close them, and they stole the house, but that's what you were doing back then.
Yeah.
I just sold the house yesterday. I sold it to him during the recession. Little tiny Milwaukee house. He bought it for $40,000. 10 years later, he sold it for $150,000. That's the market swing. And of course, he put some money into it. Don't get me wrong, but this was not a complete flip. And he had it rented out the whole time.
Good for him.
That's how you do it. So
awesome.
All right, guys, next up, for anyone who wasn't around in 2006, what was actually going on that people today wouldn't believe?
Oh, we kind of just touched on that.
Yeah, we did.
We kind of just touched on it a little bit.
The negative amortization loans and the ninja loans.
I mean, the fact that you basically just had to have a heartbeat and a social security card to get a loan. Loans of various sizes, and there were loans that were given out to people that they weren't going to make their first payment.
Nope.
But people did it.
I remember a loan officer once said to me, "How long before they throw me out of the house if I don't make any payments?" At the close. And the realtor was like, "This is going to go well."
All right, next one I got is, what's the craziest deal you personally watched close that absolutely should not have?
Probably the one I just mentioned. How long before they throw me out of the house? Yeah, that was pretty crazy. I think she did actually hold on to the house. I haven't checked in a while, so that would probably be one that should not have closed and did. That was not a fun deal.
I had an interesting one in probably like 2017 era. It was a VA loan, and I was helping the person do what we call a rapid rescore and do some credit repair. She was in a spot that she couldn't qualify as it was. Helped her fix it. Didn't do anything to manipulate the documents or anything, but was very tight. And you know, the rescore and paying the stuff off to get it so that it worked. She got the loan, and 3 months later she was calling me because she hadn't made a single payment. And I was just like, I don't even know what to do here.
Yeah.
And the whole time I was helping this person, I was like, this is probably one of those times that I should have helped somebody say no.
You almost got to wonder if you deny them, how much are you a hook on for some sort of like protected class or something like that? I mean, it's a tightrope for you.
Absolutely eligible to do this.
Yeah.
And somebody else was going to do it for them.
You open yourself up to liability.
It was a really interesting moment. And I said, we were one flat tire away from bankruptcy. Like, you got to be careful here.
Yep.
Anyway.
Yeah.
You own a lot of properties and you run a leasing operation. How does that change the way you see deals as an agent?
Well, when I'm doing stuff for an investor who's selling properties, especially in the inner city, there's about 10 or 12 of us that sell these properties, and we're kind of just exchanging deals all the time. I mean, different sellers, different buyers. So that cuts through all the bullcrap. I mean, it's just done. Hello, goodbye, yes, no. We're not going back and forth. We cut through everything. I think it's incredibly efficient. You might argue that it removes all the fun from a deal, but it's not really a lot of fun for me to sell an inner city duplex for $100,000. It's a payday, and the seller's happy, the buyer's happy, great, everyone's happy. But no, you don't get emotionally invested in. And I'm dealing with the other agent. I'm like, well, does this work for you? Yes, great, let's do this. No, it doesn't. Okay, no problem. See you on the next one. So that does help. You know, like when I'm doing like a retail deal in like the suburbs or something like that, I kind of step back a little bit from that perception, and I'm like, okay, so this is a little more emotional. How do you feel about this? You know, especially with first-time buyers. Then I'm constantly asking, are you okay with this? Do you understand what we're doing here? So this is how it's going to play out. I mean, when I meet a buyer for the first time, I'll actually walk through a transaction and how basically it's going to work out. So that's a little bit
steps,
correct. So those are the extra steps you go through when you meet a new buyer versus someone who's bought and sold hundreds of houses.
The new buyers are the ones that I like working with. There's not any one particular group that I like working with more, but the new buyers are the ones that I'm always asking those same questions. Do you understand what we're talking about? And do you have any questions? And when they don't have any questions, that's when I know they're not grasping what's really going on. It's like, okay, you should have questions right now, and that's
we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars. You got to feel good with this.
You understand, what's happening here, and I really work them quite a bit to get them to ask some questions and get into it so that they don't just sit there.
You want them to feel good all the way through the process, because then they're not going to, it removes buyer's remorse from the word go. I say, hey, listen, there's nothing going on with this property. Get back to me in a couple hours, talk about it. And they sometimes they'll be super amped on the property, and then they'll cool off. I'm like, okay, there'll be another train. Well, this market, I'm like, it's a seller's market, I agree, but there are still houses.
For me, it's just making sure that they're asking some questions and getting actively involved in it.
Correct.
And they're not just going down and being a robot and saying, oh, yeah, I like it, let's move in, and my price is going to be this, and my payment's going to be this. I want them to understand why they're doing what they're doing and see if this all fits into their overall goal. It's just important to me to really help educate them enough so that they can understand why we're doing it, why we're leveraging this the way we're leveraging it, what's happening next.
Right. You want them happy, and it's not a worst thing to point out stuff to them. Like, hey, listen, are you okay with this? I mean, you got no backyard or something like that. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. You're going to have dogs. I have 6 dogs. I'm like, yeah, you might want something with a little more land or something, whatever. I mean, there's,
for sure. Awesome.
Okay.
What underrated neighborhood, can you give me one that nobody's really talking about and it feels like a major player in this investment market of yours?
My heart's in West Allis. It always has been. I love West Allis.
Dirty
Allis. I grew up in Dirty Allis when my parents got divorced, and I lived 52nd and Greenfield. So I am Allis proud.
Love it.
West Allis, it's my vibe. The housing stock is actually pretty good. I mean, you're in Milwaukee County, so you're going to pay the higher taxes, but it's still relatively affordable. I I mean, nothing's inexpensive anymore. I'm not going to go over that. Yeah. But Dallas is just kind of cool. I mean, I'll drive the Fiero. I get more thumbs up driving the Fiero on that because those are my, they just like, they laugh. You're like, okay, this guy's like, all right. But no, Dallas is definitely underrated. There's so many neighborhoods. West Milwaukee, it's pretty much the same thing because everyone's shooting for Wauwatosa, Brookfield, Macwan, and that's great. That's fantastic. But expect to pay those prices. I talked to a guy. I'm capped at 300. I want to be in Wauwatosa. I'm like, let's go back 10 years. We'll hop in my time machine and done. When I said West Allis, he's like, oh, I don't know. I'm like, all right, well, he doesn't seem like he wants to buy a house anyways.
Even West Allis, that's a stretch today.
It is.
That's
I mean,
close.
It is there.
Single family, like at 300K. That's
pretty much where my last house I sold in West Allis was.
Yeah.
Still, I mean, it's better than renting for $1,800 a month for a 2-bedroom or something. Whatever.
All right. If someone's buying a house in Milwaukee Metro in the next 12 months, what's the one move they should make this week?
I always say, set up your automatic searches. Obviously, call me. Call you.
Are they calling me?
Well, I don't know. Okay. Your sparkling personality.
Love that.
I always tell people, I go, if you're kind of passive, start hitting the open houses. Say you got a realtor because the agent's going to ask, and if there's something you like, give me a call. And actually, what happens is someone say they want to buy in the next 12 months. If they're into it, they'll be calling me within a week. Or they fade off into the ether. Well, whatever. I wish them well. Yeah. I mean, most people will say that they're in a month-to-month lease. I'm like, okay, you're going to buy. If you've got 6 months to wait out, I'm like, okay, well, passively, we'll talk here and there. Call me anytime, shoot me a text, let me know what you're thinking. Some people, I'll send them an email every morning of like listings off the hot sheet. But yeah, get out there and start looking.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. All right, Mike, give me a little bit more on your YouTube channel and what you talk about. We talked a little bit about it, but get a little more in depth. You're talking cars, you're talking movies, you're talking real estate.
It's basically two things. It's real estate, we're all kind of, I'll do a breakdown, even things that are kind of like people don't think about, like why a title company is important. I did the difference between a 15-year and a 30-year mortgage. This is a year ago. Why holding a mortgage, even in high inflation, is a good thing because that is locked in.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no other contract that I know of that you can lock in for 30 years, the same price. Yeah. That is how you leverage income. Of course, taxes change and insurance change. Repairs are always there. But I'm hearing people tell me what they're paying in rent, and it's way more than I'm paying for a 5-bedroom, 3,000 square foot house in Brookfield.
Yeah.
But I've been there for 18 years.
Yeah.
So that's how you do it. Whether you're holding an asset or a debt, inflation actually kind of helps you out because either way, it makes a dollar less valuable. Now, across the economy, it's a terrible thing. So when I say that like this is one silver lining. So when you're paying rent, you get screwed every day. And I say that as a landlord. I do it because I make money. It's not rocket science. So, but then the other part of the YouTube channel, it's like I said, it's just stuff I like, movies, cars. I should get into video games because I love them, but it's all from a Gen X perspective. My experience growing up in the 80s, stuff like that. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, appreciate you being here, Mike.
Oh, my pleasure.
Appreciate you spending the time, getting to know you a little bit more. That's what I'm all about, trying to get to know people and that relationship, build on that. I'd like to take one thing from this conversation is that people survive in business, they're long-term ones who actually worked hard.
I'm not going anywhere. I like this. Yeah, I know you're not going anywhere.
Yeah, like it.
This is fun. So
yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah.
Appreciate your time.
Yep.
Peace.
All right, very good. Well, thanks again for having me.
Yeah.